Well, better late than never, am I right? Now let's get on to it and rank the 3D Sonic games. Just the mainline games will be included, so not the spin-off ones, or the one where they faked a 3D effect, just the main, actual 3D Sonic games. Also, in these videos, I talk about a bunch of different video game topics, and I will usually try and add some sort of special effects into the mix, because I'm into that kind of stuff. So if that sort of thing interests you, then subscribe to the channel because I have plenty of ideas for the future. Okay, let's get this started. Sonic 06. Because of this, and this, and this, especially this, and this, and this, and this. That's it, I don't even want to talk about this game. Okay, so with that out of the way, now let's move on to a game that still has its flaws, but it is better than Sonic 06. However, that's still not really saying much. Oh boy, Sonic and the Secret Rings. This was one of the more experimental Sonic games, but like, in all the wrong ways. Let's talk controls. They are a huge problem with this game. Seeing as this came out at the start of the Wii era, Sega used motion controls for pretty well all of Sonic's movement. You hold the Wii remote sideways, then tilt it in the direction you want to go in. Even the homing attack wasn't a button, but you just do this to use it. Yeah, I mean, I think you can see how that makes this game incredibly imprecise and clunky just to control. And I know this was an experimental time for a lot of developers since the motion controls were so new, but Mario Galaxy still used a control stick to move Mario. This was way too much from Sega. This also hurts the level design too, since all the levels have to accommodate this weird control set. So they all feel way more streamlined and linear. There's no exploration or different paths anymore. It's like you're just walking down one big tunnel the whole game. Yeah, so given all that, you're just left with a game that feels super gimmicky and doesn't really have anything going for it. Other than maybe the music and visuals, but that's like that for every Sonic game. Oh, but we're not done here yet. No sir, because Sonic and the Secret Rings actually got a sequel, kinda. Yes, they actually made a second game in this mini storybook Sonic series. Sonic and the Black Knight, i.e. a slightly less worse version of Sonic and the Secret Rings. Hooray! Okay, fine, the controls aren't nearly as bad as the last one. You actually move with the nunchucks control stick this time, no weird tilt controls like before. So I guess even Sega realized their mistake. But it's weird because even though the controls are changed, they still kept the linear tunnel-like level design from the last game. Yeah, and this makes the levels really not as interesting to play through. But this time, the game is a lot more combat-oriented because you're like a knight or something. This part I just found to be pretty boring and repetitive. All you do is just shake the Wii remote when you're in front of a group of enemies, and that's about it. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what else to say about this one. This mini storybook series of games was such an odd inclusion into the Sonic franchise. While Black Knight is better than Secret Rings, both of them still don't really do much for me. Now with the storybook series out of the way, let's move on to a Sonic game that possibly had just as poor as a reception. This is the most current Sonic game, Sonic Forces. Oh yeah, this was a game that was made. I say this because this is like one of the most forgettable Sonic games out there. Sure, okay, I do like all the visuals in the stages. They got a lot of stuff happening in the background. And I like this whole post-apocalyptic Sonic world. It's actually a cool premise. But the gameplay is just so nothing. This game doesn't do anything or have any sort of gimmick. You just hold straight in like this hallway type place. And if you click the boost button, then some levels you just win. No other inputs are required. I mean, just look at this. This isn't engaging gameplay. Like, what are all the enemies even doing here? They all just stand there mindlessly waiting for you to hit them. You can make your own custom character, and his stages are probably the most interesting ones. He has some different weapons he can use, and some new abilities we haven't seen from Sonic, so that was somewhat fun at least. Now, I don't find this to be a bad game, yet one that is just incredibly mediocre and kinda boring. But then the reason I still rank it lower than some other games on this list, with many sections I consider to be bad, is because at least with those games, you're motivated to get through the bad parts so you can at least get back to the awesome sections again, whereas this game, it all blends together in one okay experience, which kills my motivation to keep on playing it. The next game here is another divisive one, to say the least, and while some people actually really like this game, I for one wasn't that big of a fan. This is Sonic Unleashed. Look, I want to like this game, I want to place it higher, but I just couldn't bring myself to do so. Let's start with the good. The parts that everybody loves are the daytime stages. And while I don't think these are the best levels ever in Sonic, I think they're pretty good. A bit too fast and a bit too on rails for my liking, which is why I don't think they're like revolutionary or anything, but these are still some solid Sonic stages. Oh, and the visuals in this game are gorgeous. I love all the locations you visit. The rest of the game though, I really can't stand. The nighttime stages are brutal. Everyone knows it, they're repetitive, they're long, they're boring, okay? But honestly, if the game was like 50% nighttime stages and 50% daytime stages, then I might have ranked it higher, but the amount of other crap that this game has you doing is not even funny. Firstly, the nighttime stages last for like half an hour at times, while the daytime ones are like max 5 minutes. Then there's all this other stuff you do in between stages, like a long and boring QuickTime game, talking to a bunch of characters, or collecting Sun and Moon tokens. This game honestly just needed a level select and it would be so much better, but there is way too much filler here. So with all those sections bringing the game down, most of the game I really don't like playing in the grand scheme of things. There's only a sprinkle of fun parts, which are the daytime stages. So I can't justify putting this any higher when I only like such a small part of this game. The next Sonic game is an odd one, filled with many different ideas and does have a lot of variety. It was also only released on the Wii U of all consoles, and I'm of course talking about Sonic Lost World. Bro, this game is just so weird. I think it took inspiration from the cancelled Sonic Extreme game with its fisheye lens, because everything in this Lost World is very tubular. The levels are odd, there are so many unique concepts, I swear there is something brand new in every level. While some of them are hits, there are still a lot of misses in this game. Like this one, where you guide fruit into a blender the whole time. But still, there are some pretty awesome stages here that present a lot of unique and creative ideas in the level design. The first acts in All the Worlds, for example, are a great showcase of what this area has to offer and are jam-packed with variety. The pacing is probably the biggest downfall of this game. Some levels will just randomly be super hard out of nowhere, making progression very frustrating all of a sudden. I will say this game is a lot more fun on a second playthrough when you're better at the controls and just game in general, so then these difficulty spikes aren't too bad. Sonic has a very unique control set in this game too. He can charge his homing attack now, which I do like, but then he has this weird parkour system that I find very hard to control. However, the parkour is mostly not required to simply beat the levels. And then the spin dash was brought back for this game, so that was cool. Overall, it has its highs and lows. However, I will say the more you play it and learn how it works, the more enjoyable that this game will be. Now let's look at a game that I'd say no one was really expecting at the time, because after the success of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, I think everyone thought Sonic Adventure 3 was the next move, but instead we got this game, which is Sonic Heroes. This is one of the more unique Sonic games out there. Take the way you control your characters, for example. There are 3 characters with you that you can swap between at any time. They each specialize in different areas like speed, power, or flight. I actually thought this mechanic worked really well and added a lot more replayability to the game. Okay, maybe not replaying the game in 4 different stories, but still. Each character had their own different moves too, which allowed for more strategy for which character would be best for different sections. The levels in this game were mostly pretty fun. Some of them had pretty great mechanics as well, like this rainforest where certain features of the level would change when it's raining. Or there's this haunted castle stage that featured a bunch of optical illusions in it. This is something we've never really seen in a Sonic game. Look, you flip the whole castle upside down at many points. However, Sonic Heroes has a lot of, how you say, jank in it. The character's movement and acceleration feel just a bit too twitchy. Rail grinding is particularly notorious for just having your character fall off seemingly for no reason. And there's even a whole area called Rail Canyon, which is just great. Honestly, if this game had a bit more time in development to iron out these kinks, then I think it could have been a phenomenal Sonic game. However, it is still a pretty great one. So the games are winding down, and I would call this video quite a journey, quite an adventure, you could say. In fact, I'd call this video a Sonic adventure. 2. Let's start with the good here. The Sonic and Shadow stages are some of the best levels in any 3D Sonic game. You'll be surfing down the streets of San Francisco, trying to catch a rocket in a military harbor, or even grinding on rails in space. Then we have the Tails/Eggman stages, and they're just alright. You drive these mechs, and it's pretty cool just mowing down these large groups of enemies, but after a while, it can get a bit repetitive and mindless. Then there's the sections I don't like, i.e. the Knuckles and Rouge stages. These consist of mindlessly roaming around a big 3D space until your radar starts to beep when there's an emerald near you, then collect that emerald and rinse and repeat 2 more times. That's it. So in total, I thought the Sonic stages were awesome, the Tails stages were decent, and the Knuckles ones were bad. Which kinda does suck when essentially 1/3 of the game I don't like. But the other 2/3 of it carry the game, especially the Sonic and Shadow levels. They're literally the reason it's ranked so high. But what's really annoying is that you have to play between all these types of levels interchangeably during the main story. You can't just select the character you want to play. Honestly, if it wasn't for that, this game may have been even higher. Heck, the presentation and music in this game is awesome, and the story, while corny, was ambitious too. But as it stands, this game takes my number 4 spot. So now that we've looked at Sonic Adventure 2, the adventuring doesn't stop here, because now the next game on this list is the prequel to that game, Sonic Adventure 1. Yes, I actually like Adventure 1 more than 2. Now there are a few reasons that I'll get into later, but for now, let's talk about why I ranked it so high. A lot of people say this game has aged poorly, and okay, I agree with that about things like the cutscenes and dialogue, but geez, other things like the controls and levels are still amazing even by modern standards. Sonic runs at a pretty fast but very controllable speed, and then if you want to go faster, you can just spam the spin dash. So it was a total blast playing through the Sonic stages. I didn't just enjoy the Sonic levels though, cause honestly the Tails levels were just as fun and provided a new twist on the old stages. Not so much in the racing aspect, but it's in how you can control Tails to skip these big sections by flying over them. And Tails has fantastic controls too. Knuckles and Gamma I thought weren't as good as Sonic and Tails levels, but they were still definitely solid and fun in their own right. Amy's levels I didn't think were that great, and especially Big's levels, I don't want to play those again. But okay, here's the beauty of this game compared to Adventure 2. You don't have to play the crappy characters if you don't want to. Like, I wasn't a fan of Amy or Big's levels, but that's totally irrelevant because I don't even have to play them to finish the other stories. If I feel like playing as Sonic, I select Sonic. If I feel like Gamma, I select Gamma, and that's how it should be. Sure, this game has its annoying parts, but as a whole, this game is still a lot of fun. So it comes down to this: colors or generations. Both of these games left a real impact when I first played them, but one has to rank higher than the other. And at the number 2 spot, I'm gonna go with Sonic Colors. This game was such a breath of fresh air when it came out. There's no fluff, no jank, and no filler like a lot of Sonic games before this one. This is just a collection of a bunch of awesome Sonic levels. Not saying all the levels are perfect here, but in general, these are very well made. But what makes these really unique are all the different level themes in this game. They're amazing. You got a tropical galactic resort, a spaceship parade full of bright lights, and then, get this, an actually good water area. This time they combined a water park with this Japanese architecture. Like, this level was very well done. And then, all of these levels are combined with a space theme. Like, damn, these stages are so cool. The new mechanic in this game are the Wisps. They're like power-ups that Sonic can use here. I like them because they're not too game-changing or mess with Sonic's gameplay that much, but rather these complement the level design and enhance Sonic's movement. Plus, the visuals in this game look really good, especially because this is on the Wii, yet they still managed to have all this detail in all these levels. And I just adore the music in this game too. Now, I know like all Sonic games have a great soundtrack, which is why I haven't really been mentioning the music in this video, because it would kinda get redundant at this point. But this game, and Sonic Adventure 2, have my favorite Sonic soundtracks. All in all, this was a total joy to play through. Sonic Generations. Was there really any question? The best part of this game for me is the level design. There is so much packed into each of these stages here. There's a bunch of different routes to take, making these stages super replayable, and discovering these was very rewarding. There's also a ton of really epic set pieces in all of them too, really fueling your adrenaline as you're playing. You'll be breaking through buildings that lead into a section where you run down the wall of that building while being chased by cops, only to then break through another building, then landing on the floor as you watch the cops crash down next to you. Epic. All of this is backed by the gorgeous visuals and amazing music as you blast through these stages. This really adds to the game feel here, like there is so much detail to look at in the backgrounds. The levels are just a total blast and got me to replay each of them many times over. I do like the modern stages more than the classic ones. However, the classic stages are still fun in their own right, and he can go super fast too, like geez. Plus, it's cool that each Sonic has their own unique moveset, making each of them feel different. This is exactly what I want in a Sonic game. No convoluted stories, no padding, and no weird other gimmicky gameplay styles. Just amazing levels and exhilarating high-speed gameplay.